Welcome back to the weekend preview. A reminder that we do have a reduced set of fixtures in the Premier League this weekend due to the COVID outbreak in the UK. So at the moment, 5 matches will be taking place this weekend. There are 2 on Saturday, including Aston Villa against Burnley and Leeds against Arsenal. Then 3 matches to come on Sunday, including the league leaders, Manchester City's trip to Newcastle and Liverpool's trip to North London to take on Spurs. We also have Wolves, who are taking on Chelsea after they've just slipped up in their race for the title this season. So let's hear from both managers now, starting off with Bruno Lage, who's very wary of the threat Thomas Tuchel's side can pose.
These type of teams, they don't have a bad moment. So they have big players. They can, and like you said, one of the best teams in the world. They won the last Champions League. They have a lot of experience. The managers have a lot of experience. He can replace several players because they have a good squad, and they do very well in this system. So it's very hard to play against them because they are hard guys to play against, and also they do it very well. They dominate this system. They can play 3-4-3, they can play 3-4-2. They know how to play in the both ways. But for us, this is a challenge. It's opportunity for us. Every time we play at home with our fans, and we want to play our game, and every time go to the mentality to try to win the game.
They had a rough start to the season and recovered from there. They're very disciplined with a clear structure, and very hard to break down the defensive line. Very hard to create chances, so a big task for us, and we will focus on it from tomorrow. Before training, we will have a meeting. Then we will do our training and be well prepared. We continue to put the effort in. We will get the output. There is no alternative than to give everything in. There is no guarantee for results. So we will keep on pushing for the maximum effort and for the maximum input.
Well, it's an opportunity for Chelsea to bounce back after their draw midweek, but Wolves have been a really tough side to beat. Before we get into the game, Mario, coincidentally, the last goal you scored for Chelsea was actually against Wolves in 2004. Do you remember it?
Yes, I slid on my knees, I think.
Was it like... You didn't injure yourself, did you?
No, but I played on 1-2, I think. Okay, this is now.
Look at that, it's the striker's finish that.
You're the third man.
Okay, third man. Oh, we talked about it. Third man.
I thought you should never stand still.
No, you see? Hey, I'm moving. Third man, I moved.
Nice. Very nice indeed. There we go. We had to dig that one out for you,
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Happy days. Happy
days indeed. Right, let's talk a little bit about your former club, Chelsea, then. What's happened lately? What's happened?
Yeah, I think the confidence. I think if you look at the way they play right now, is at the back. That was where Chelsea was really crucial. You know, they were taking risk. The people saw them opening up at the back, passing the ball from the back, the way Rudiger was running it in, and that's his strength. You could see things happening. Nowadays, I feel like they're really high pressed by a lot of teams. They put the pressure really high on them. Well, it started to drop off a little bit because people started to worry now. If you press too high, they break you on the counter. Nowadays, people just press high and let them think. And I think that's one of the things. I think, like I said, the confidence is a little bit lower than what it normally is. And also because they're not controlling the game exactly how they normally controlled it. And I think that's one of the crucial things. And that's why Tuchel now it comes down to the real skill. And does he have the skill? Of course, I'm not questioning that. But I'm just saying, like, now you can see really, now he can show his ability of what he expects them to do.
From what we saw when Thomas Tuchel first arrived in the Premier League with this Chelsea team was just how quickly he got the team so solid at the back, Rachel. So why are we seeing these uncharacteristic mistakes, if we can call them that?
I think it's more, I do think there's a bit of a lack of confidence, but I think partly of that is the defence has been pretty solid, but they're not converting the chances. They're creating a lot of chances, but they're simply not putting games away. We saw that last night against Everton. I think they had 4 or 5 really good chances in the first half alone where they should have converted. I watched Chelsea against Burnley a few weeks back, and very similar. It couldn't get over the line, ended up 1-1.
Did Pickford have a good game, though?
Pardon?
Did Pickford have a good game?
Pickford had an awesome game last night, absolutely. And we've seen him really personally develop as a player. But you're talking 3, 4, 5 yards out. I think Lukaku being out has maybe been part of that dip in belief. They've not had that out-and-out number 9 that it was a big part, whether he was scoring goals or not. He was a big part of what Chelsea did well, and it brought the likes of Werner in to be able to start to bring the best out of him. But last night, Pickford was in sensational form. He needed to be, because the team was depleted for various reasons and had a lot of younger players in front, and that's been a part of his game. He's developed his communication. For Jordan Pickford, he's always been a very agile goalkeeper, very quick goalkeeper, great power in his saves, but he's improved with his communication and his demeanour. His ability to stay in the game, we saw last night, is exceptional.
Do you think they are missing something up top there, Rafa? Because I think going back to the start of the season, even before Lukaku's arrival, we talked so much about the depth in the squad and the options that he's got in the attacking areas, Thomas Tuchel. Then Lukaku arrived and they looked like they were the complete team. So why has that changed all of a sudden?
He was supposed to be the missing link, and I think a fully fit Lukaku position. They're still in a very good position. Let's not over-dramatize this slump. But he hasn't been fully fit. Now he picked up COVID as well. I think he will be a miss for any team, especially a team that was looking for that type of player in the market. But I'm also with Mario. I think the lack of control in midfield has been a bit of an issue for Chelsea. Last year we had Jorginho and Conte controlling the midfield. Then you had Kovacic as the backup. We've hardly ever had all the 3 of them available this season. It's been in and out, Jorginho in, Conte in, Kovacic is not available, and they're missing. Every time one of those guys is not available, they're missing something, because in that system there is a lot of pressure on the 2 holding it all together in that 3-4-3. Because they do a lot of work defensively, and I think they haven't quite had the same protection.
How important is that, Mario, to have that stability in particularly those holding midfield roles for a defence?
Look, they are the balance in the team, and especially now, the modern days where football is gone now, is especially in the middle of the park, because that's where we have a lot of bodies. The system everybody plays is that. So look, if you have a Kante and a Jorginho, in the beginning we were complaining Jorginho, okay, defensively he has a problem. You bring a Kante next to him, then Kante takes that balance away. Then you want more playing. Then Jorginho is better in playing. So I feel like those 2 things are really working really well. But just as Rafa said, if they're not available, if they're not there all the time to play together, then you have to put other people in it. That doesn't mean that the other ones, some of them are not good enough. No, but what happens is that they have to get used to it. Because when you get Loftus-Cheek gets his opportunity now, he first has to implement himself in getting his confidence going, feeling good, demanding the ball on certain locations. And if you don't get it, that also says something about, because the other players are used to, when Jorginho asks for the ball, trust me, no one is even thinking about not giving it to him. They'll give it to him. And that is the thing that Chelsea has. They have too many chop and changes, and that's not what you want. You want to make sure that they play, those 2 guys are the balance of the team, and when they're not there, and that's the question that you ask, if the midfield keeps on changing or any position keeps on changing, you don't want it, and that's what happened with the forwards too. Why are you bringing Lukaku to the club? Yeah. That's because you were looking for someone like him, and that's why you're missing him.
Well, whether the changes have been forced or not, Thomas Tuchel has made the most since the start of the season, Rachel. Do you think this could now, with Lukaku out for however long it might be an opportunity for Timo Werner to step up? Because I think in the Champions League a couple of weeks ago, we saw one of his best performances in a Chelsea shirt. Yeah,
I'd agree that he is kind of coming to light, and he got a lot of game time initially when he signed for Chelsea, and then I think the reality of what it was to be a Premier League player in that position, either he wasn't getting the best out of himself, or Frank Lampard at the time wasn't getting the best out of Timo Werner. But with enforced changes, Tuchel's got a very defined way of playing. I think he's proven to be an excellent man manager, but this is the toughest test for him, Tuchel, at the moment, with the disruption in fixtures for a start. That is a disruption for any manager to manage his players. And yeah, Werner and Havertz, and there's lots of players he's gonna need to lean on, with Lukaku being out and with the uncertainty of what's to come in this next couple of weeks, if nothing else.
Yeah, the good thing is that they're getting goals from all over the pitch, Mario, and particularly from Reece James, who has got to be one of the best players for Chelsea this season.
Yeah, definitely. Because you know what the key thing for Reece was that Tuchel asked him and demanded more. You know, he said to him, like, look, you're playing really well, attacking-wise. I saw that as well. And he added that to his game, the way he goes forward, the way he comes back. As Azpilicueta, you could see that sometimes he couldn't keep up with that pace anymore because he's getting older. And then he said to him, like, you got to add goals to your tally too. And he started to make those goals. And that, I think... And then last night, if you look at it back... the chances that Rachel said that they had, it was also because of the link between Mount and Reece. Now you can see the history of them, why they have such a great connection, because a lot of the opportunities that Chelsea had last night, for example, against Everton, was because of them two playing together. They know each other really well. Yeah. And I feel like Reece, the more he keeps on doing that and taking his opportunity, he really has to, I mean, Trent Alexander-Arnold, I already told you, he set the trend for all the fullbacks because that's what you got to deliver. And you got to do it, and that's what Reece is doing.
OK, well, look, for Chelsea, it's an opportunity for them to get back to winning ways against Wolves, but they've been really difficult to beat this season. Have you been impressed with how solid they've been defensively? Only the top three have conceded fewer goals.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could hear from Thomas Tuchel that he is almost in awe on how well organised they are and how few chances they allow you. There's a flip side to it. They don't score many goals.
Not many at all, do they?
They're a little
Raul
bit...
Jimenez is back for this game, though.
Yeah, they're a little bit minimalist in their approach, but it's very successful. At least it's successful enough to keep them in a very decent position. But yeah, not fun to play against, I think, especially for a Chelsea side who have struggled with efficiency. Wolves will not allow you many chances. If you then don't take them, you're in trouble.
Have they impressed you, Rachel?
They have, but it's not a team I'd want to play up against. And, you know, that is kind of what they're doing well at the moment, is they're nicking a goal. Certainly when Jimenez is back, they're a better team, simple as that. So when he's back from his suspension, which was a bit silly on his part. But they are... Bruno Lage has got them well drilled, very, very well drilled. And I think Rafa's predicting a 0-0 based on that assumption there.
We'll see what Mario thinks, because we'll get to Mario's predictions very short.
Pulisic, he started last night, didn't he, against Everton? And with the likes of Werner, Havertz, Lukaku, Hudson-Odoi all being out due to COVID, are you expecting to see a bit more of him over the coming couple of games?
He's not faster than Timo Werner, though. That's
No,
like,
he's not.
Me, it's like me and him in a race.
Yeah,
only one winner there.
Day long.
Of course you're in. Of course you're in.
Yeah, no, I think he's one of them where he's just picked up too many injuries for Thomas Tuchel's liking, and he can't get him into sort of enough games. He's got no rhythm, so he's coming in a little bit cold, and he's not the type of player that's going to come in for one game, play well, and then sit on the bench. I think he's the type of player where you give him sort of 6 or 7 games on the spin, because I think he's a confidence player. I think you can see that in his body language, the way he speaks. He's a good talker, but he operates, I think, on confidence.
And when he gets up to speed, of course, not Timo Werner's speed, Leroy, he is some player.
I really like him. Always liked him. You know, and I think he's got so much ability. But Don's right. The injuries have hurt him, and he's one of those players that, you know, if he was to get fit, I think he'd keep replacing the side, because I think he's got a little bit more than maybe a few others at the moment. But I think there'll be other clubs keeping an eye on that situation as well. In all honesty, because you'd see him at Liverpool. He could play at Liverpool. I think he could play at City. I think he's that good, in all honesty. So he needs to get himself fit and on the pitch, and he can show what he can do.
Well, Chelsea dropping points from winning positions, not picking up wins in the Premier League in the last 3. What's going on?
Not surprised, Seema, to be honest. It's not a surprise, because JJ and I talked about it last night. We said we wouldn't be surprised they dropped a point against Everton. It's just the way that they play. And obviously with those sorts of players missing, it doesn't help. But this has been on the horizon for a while. Just see the way they want to control the game, missed chances. That's a couple of great chances right at the start of that game, which would have just settled them down, missed those opportunities. And it just gave Everton the encouragement to stick in the game. So it wasn't a surprise that obviously the one game they won in that 3 was the last-minute penalty against Leeds, which wasn't convincing anyway. So, you know, Thomas Tuchel's got a few problems that he's got to sort out.
It's not bad luck, this. This has been coming, and it has been happening. It happened against Burnley, when they should have beat Burnley 5, and they were 1-0 up and allowed Burnley, like we keep saying in the Premier League, if it's 1-0, you've got a chance. And Burnley got an equaliser, same at Man United, same against Zenit, 3-3 in that game. So at the present time, you're looking at Chelsea's fixtures and you're thinking, people can get results against them. They're a little bit fragile. And they've gone from a side that was keeping clean sheets for fun. No one could score against them. And now you sort of look and you think, well, they're not putting teams to bed, so they're not getting a 2 or 3 goal head start, because if they do, sounds a bit obvious, but they'd smash anyone.
Yeah.
But while teams keep it 1 behind, they've got a chance. And teams are smelling that at this present time. Chelsea are weak or weaker, because Thomas Tuchel called them average after the Zenit game. He said, my team is average. Can't keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah. Isn't that maybe the fundamental difference between Chelsea and their title rivals in Manchester City and Liverpool, is that whenever you watch City and Liverpool play, Leroy, even at 0-0, if they go 1-0 down, you feel that there are 3 or 4 goals in that team at any given time.
Yeah, they just get a sense that they'll work it out. Whereas you just feel that Chelsea are going to stick to plan A.
So you look at that fixture there and you think Wolves, you think, that's a tough game.
That's a tough game. Isn't it? Tough game. Especially the way Wolves have been playing. Obviously,
Kind of gone under the radar a bit, and suddenly they find themselves in a really
lost
good
late
place.
on to Liverpool when they shouldn't have given that goal away, and it was down to their poor play. Obviously, the penalty against Man City went against them as well, but they got a great win against Brighton, which is a tough game. So they'll be confident that they can keep a clean sheet against Chelsea.
I'm going to go score draw.
Well, I was just going to say, outside of the top 3, Wolves have conceded the least amount of goals.
I fancy them to get a draw. I just think Chelsea in an awkward place.
OK,
cool. Is that 1-1?
1-1.
Do you know
Where are you going?
2-1 Chelsea.
After all of that?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much, Don. OK.